Example 6. In elephants, having tusks is a dominant trait, while the absence of tusks is recessive. So having tusks is dominant. I'm going to underline that. If it's dominant, I know I'm going to use a capital letter because dominant means capital. The absence of tusks is recessive because the statement has told me that, which means that this guy is going to be lowercase. I'm going to write that down. A homozygous dominant elephant is crossed with an elephant with no tusks. So the first parent that I'm going to tackle is this homozygous dominant elephant. If something is homozygous dominant, homozygous means same, so I'm going to write that down. And we already know what dominant means because you told me up here. It means capital. So my first parent is going to have two of the same letter, and they both are going to be capital letters. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down just so that I don't get confused. So we're going to work with elephants. I'm going to use two big E's for parent number 1. It's crossed with an elephant with no tusks. Now this is the tricky one. You have to go back and look at the first sentence. If an elephant has no tusks, what kinds of letters do I have to use? It says lowercase. The only way to see a lowercase letter is to put two lowercase letters together. Otherwise, that phenotype will be masked because it's not strong enough to cover up a capital letter. So I know this guy is going to be homozygous as well, but instead of being homozygous dominant, it's going to be homozygous recessive. So I know I'm going to have two lowercase e's. So let's fill in our key. Having tusks, according to our reading, is a capital letter. So I'm going to put a big E. No tusks is a lowercase letter. Now let me put my parents in. I'm going to put my homozygous dominant parent at the top and my homozygous recessive parent on the side. Again, doesn't matter where you put them. That's how I set it up. You could swap these out if you wanted to. I'm going to do the top two, and you guys are going to do the bottom two. So every time we fill in a Punnett square, we always bring whatever's on the left-hand side into the box and whatever's on top into the box. In this case, we have to remember, though, that we always do the capital letter first. So I'm going to bring in my big E first, and then I'll bring in my little e. For my second quadrant, I'm going to do the same thing. Whatever's on the side comes in, whatever's on top comes in. But again, I have to use my capital letter first. So big E, little e. I'm also going to go ahead and write down what each phenotype is just so I don't get confused. Anytime there's a capital letter next to a lowercase letter, we only see this big guy. So let's look up at our key. A capital E equals tusks, so I'm going to write that down. And then this happens to be the same genotype, so I'm going to write tusks again. Go ahead and fill in the last two quadrants of your Punnett square and then look up at the question. It's asking you, what is the expected ratio of elephants with tusks to elephants without tusks in the offspring? Good luck.